Good morning. I'm a hugger, so good morning to President Ripich, the Board of Trustees, the UNE faculty, staff, and students, the Deborah Morton Society Selection Committee, the Deborah Morton Society Chair, members, distinguished guests, to my family who's here today. It is with great humility that I say thank you for this recognition. I am sincerely grateful. To my fellow awardees, it is truly an honor to experience today's convocation and induction into the society with you. You have my deepest respect. To our Deborah Morton Endowed Scholarship recipients, Brittany Pye and Kimberly Williamson, congratulations. Special thanks to my dear friend, my colleague, a mentor, a sister, Donna Loring, a 2011 Deborah Morton Society awardee, and who without I would not be here today. She's this year's best Deborah Morton Society ambassador, by the way, too. So. For those of you who may not know of Donna's work and legacy, you should check out the annual Donna M. Loring Lecture Series, which is sponsored by the Maine Women Writers Collection here. It addresses current and historic Native American or Aboriginal issues, indigenous rights, as well as women's rights, civil rights, and the issues of fairness and equality. Donna's energy for learning never stops, and her contributions to our collective learning and engagement is inspiring. She brings forth the voice of the Wabanaki people here in the state of Maine. Thank you, Donna. It is fair to say, in a much different way, that I also wouldn't be here, literally, without the love and care and support, the guidance and patience of my family. My mother, who was the rock of our family. And as a mother, I know how hard she works to keep us all together. My father, who's a consummate and compassionate fighter for freedom for all ages, and by the way, he was the first feminist I ever got to know, lives his life through the creed, I am my brother and my sister's keeper. My sisters, who, like me, received the best education possible at the dining room table every night for supper. There was nonstop discussion. My parents taught us about the real history, real geography, social studies, humanities, art, politics, and of course, the importance of service, the importance to give back, and our obligation to continue the fight for justice and equality somewhere in our lives. As a ninth-generation Mainer of African descent, I know that I did not arrive here all on my own accord, deserving to be singled out for any accomplishment, as there is no doubt that if I am standing tall, it is because I stand on the shoulders of my ancestors. So I also give thanks to them for creating a pathway for me to walk easily into opportunity. After learning more about the courageous life of Deborah Morton, I now know that I must add her to those I thank for forging a path. As a teacher, historian, linguist, and progressive civic leader, the choices she made in her life and the leadership was shaped by the Civil War and the passage of Reconstruction-era amendments. They're also known as the first Civil Rights Movement, the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, the 15th Amendment, and the 19th Amendment. Just think of that for a moment, really, to be actively engaged, to be on the cutting edge of learning, to push for the realization of our democratic principles. Deborah Morton lived her life during this time. The abolition of slavery, granting citizenship rights to all persons born in the United States, regardless of their race, color, or creed, and the right to vote. And here I thought my life was exciting because I got to vote for the first black president. But this is the world she helped create for me, for us, for you, the true promise of freedom, justice, and equality. She was courageous indeed. If you fast forward to 1961, when the then Westbrook College courageously established the first award named for a woman in the state of Maine, Deborah Morton. This is a full 3 years before the March on Washington. This is a full 3 years before the landmark piece of civil rights legislation in the United States, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, that outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, and the unequal application of voter registration requirements and racial segregation in schools, the workplace, and public accommodations. UNE established this award 3 years prior to that landmark civil rights bill. This was known as our second civil rights movement. So I thank you today, Deborah Morton, and the University of New England for paving the way for me to stand here and be recognized alongside these accomplished and successful women, for you to see me and whatever work I may have contributed to this legacy. I want to end by asking a question about what would Deborah Morton want us to do now? What would she want us to do now? I think she would say, ladies, move us forward. Do not study me or memorialize me in your history books. Do not admire me from afar. Embrace my legacy and hold each other accountable for not letting go of all of the gains of the past. Make sure they're not repealed or lessened in any way. Do not get comfortable with your sense of equality, but keep working, keep fighting. It is not enough for us to be equal under the law if the application of that law is inequitable in our lives. What is equality without equity? She may tell us to fight for the elimination of structural racism and classism and sexism and homophobia. She may ask us, pick up that mantle and move us forward. Eliminate the decades of disparities in health, healthcare, education, economic prosperity, and in our social and political systems. Do not accept mass incarceration, families living without food or shelter, human beings considered illegal, war and the raging violence in our neighborhoods, the right to not love someone because they may be of the same gender as you. Work, keep working, fighting, move us forward. Do not see today as some end of your journey. She would say, see it as the continuation of ours. Today is not just a celebration, it is a call for action. And I would say, Deborah, I hear you. I'm ready. Let's move forward. Again, thank you.